Welcome to the Echo Tips podcast.
Here's a sneak peek into what we're going to cover in this week's episode of the Echo Tips podcast.
Of course. Which character would you like to talk to?
Who's available?
I have a few options. 1. A wise and knowledgeable figure who can offer insight and advice. 2. A funny and entertaining character who can tell jokes and stories. 3. A romantic interest who can engage in flirty or heartfelt conversation. 4. A mysterious and enigmatic character who keeps you guessing and leaves you wanting more. 5. A powerful and confident character who can inspire and motivate you. Which one interests you the most?
Any historical characters?
Certainly. Here are a few historical characters I can offer.
Okay.
1. Alexander the Great. 2. Cleopatra. 3. Julius Caesar. 4. Napoleon Bonaparte. 5. Elizabeth I of England.
Hello, welcome to the Echo Tips podcast. Things may sound a little differently today. I'm recording this segment actually in my office at our new training center, but it's good to have you all with us this week. We're going to be dealing with a very interesting topic, as you could tell probably from our prelude, something announced at the Amazon event back in September, and that was character AI, the ability to talk to these fictional characters, maybe historical characters who are trained on maybe historical notes about, who knows, Albert Einstein, Abraham Lincoln, George Washington. Maybe you think of fictional characters from your favorite books and the like. So we're going to learn a little more about that today, as it's this very early A-Lady beta rollout that we've been talking about lately, the AI smartness and generative components connected with that. Kind of buggy in some respects, but kind of cool as well. Now, for our returning listeners, we'd like to welcome you back today, and for our new listeners, we'd like to welcome you back as well. Oh, I should say welcome you for the very first time. You may be wondering what our podcast is dealing with. We have nuggetized episodes dealing with the Amazon Echo on every imaginable subject, from equipment and hardware as it's released, to new skills and games, things for youths, things for parents, caregivers, seniors, different ones with different disabilities, accessibility features. We'll talk about home automation, all sorts of good stuff in this podcast. And lately, a lot about some of the AI smartness that's coming with the A-Lady beta rollout. I'm the host of the podcast, David Ward, an assistive technology instructor with the New Vision program at Goodwill, and we reside here in the Blue Ridge Mountains of Southwest Virginia in Roanoke, where our training center is located. So kind of cold and wet lately, but at least it isn't snow and ice. So it's good to have you all with us this week, and I think you'll find the program very, very engaging. Some of the neat things, and makes you really think about what's going to be happening here in the future. But before we delve into that content in any kind of depth, we're going to go to a brief message about our podcast, and then, as always, we will be right back. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Well, hello again, and welcome back to the podcast. It's good to have you all with us, and this is one of the more exciting things that I've been really waiting to hear or see and interact with on the Amazon Echo as these new beta features roll out that were announced back in September, where large language models and generative AI designed by Amazon would slowly, hopefully, make its way into our A-ladies. Now, at this point, it's a kind of beta test, and we're gonna demonstrate how you get into that, and if it is available in your region, or maybe even get on a waiting list to test these features out. It's kind of sandboxed off into kind of a separate you think of it as a skill at this point. But anyway, you can go into that and interact. And until now, I'd asked about character AIs, but I hadn't had access to it. But I do seem to be getting it today. Now, my experiences are varying a lot inside of this beta. I think they're doing a lot of what's called sometimes A/B testing, where they're trying out different versions of different people or rotating them as you go in and out of it, with different safeguards in place, different types of features available or not available. So our experience may vary a lot from maybe even yours. And in fact, if I waited 15 minutes or an hour and I came back and tried it again, I might be in a different version of the beta test and may have access to the features, I may not. So this is going to be kind of a real learning experience for all of us involved, because I can't always replicate these things each time. And I might even fast forward at points where we hit some dull points or things that don't seem to work quite right, and then take it from a different angle. So that seems to sometimes work. Now, first off, if you haven't tried out the new AI features with the A-Lady, you simply say, "A-Lady, let's chat." And that will usually take you either into it or give you the option, hopefully, to be on the waiting list when it's available in your area. Now, what is Character AI? Well, it's actually a separate company that was mentioned all the way back in September, and their kind of idea is to create chatbots based on very specific personalities, historical figures, sometimes fictitious characters from books or novels, sometimes actors or actresses. You think Abraham Lincoln, Albert Einstein, maybe some sort of DC or Marvel comic book hero, and infuse that AI engine kind of with that personality, that kind of response, that kind of language and diction and approach, and based maybe on their past experiences, maybe papers written by Abraham Lincoln or something like that, to be able to give you a more kind of informed response, kind of from that perspective. So it's very kind of interesting to see where this is going to go. I will mention right up front before I start, I'm a little disappointed that we don't have some sort of language option on this, because it doesn't really change voices when it goes into like Abraham Lincoln or anything like that. And even if they didn't have the new text-to-speech engine voices ready to roll out, it would be nice for just mental sake for it to just change voices or something, or change pitch or something, to kind of give you kind of a clue that you're talking to the Abraham Lincoln now. And that's just not the way it works so far. For that matter, I'd like it to change voices when it goes into this feature, so it kind of mentally segregates it in your mind from just the traditional A-Lady that you interact with. Okay, so without any further ado, we're going to delve right in. If you have an Echo in hearing distance of me, as is the rule usually, please shut off the ears of your Echo that are in hearing distance of me. That way I'm not tripping up your Echo at home. You generally don't need to do that on your personal Echo if you're listening to this podcast on that Echo, although I've had mine trip up the last couple times. So I don't know if there's an update coming or maybe a bug in there right now. But anywho, just feel free to shut off the ears of the Echoes in hearing distance of me, and that way when I'm doing the demos here, I'm not tripping your Echoes at home. Okay, so let's move on. And so let's go down this rabbit hole and see what can happen with Character AI. Oh, and by the way, you can just always go to the website, character.ai, to get kind of a bigger feel for what's available, those different type of personalities that are out there. And I haven't really got the full scope of what is or is not available. I believe back in September, they only mentioned like a couple of dozen, maybe like 20 or 30. I don't have the number right in front of me. I don't think it was much more than 30. Character AI is becoming available on the A-Lady, but I don't know. There might be different ones in here, and there's definitely different ones that are geared for children as well that I sometimes run into. Okay, so without any further ado, let's delve right into the deep end of the pool, everybody. Here we go. Alexa, let's chat. Dun, dun, dun.
Hello, how may I help you today?
I'd like to talk to a character AI.
Of course. Which character would you like to talk to?
Who's available?
I have a few options. 1. A wise and knowledgeable figure who can offer insight and advice. 2. A funny and entertaining character who can tell jokes and stories. 3. A romantic interest who can engage in flirty or heartfelt conversation. 4. A mysterious and enigmatic character who keeps you guessing and leaves you wanting more. 5. A powerful and confident character who can inspire and motivate you. Which one interests you the most?
Any historical characters?
Certainly. Here are a few historical characters I can offer.
Okay.
1. Alexander the Great. 2. Cleopatra. 3. Julius Caesar. 4. Napoleon Bonaparte. 5. Elizabeth I of England.
Alexander the Great.
Hello, I am Alexander the Great. What would you like to know about me?
Using your military strategies, how would you deal with the Ukrainian war such that you can bring things to a peaceful resolution?
1. Alexander would likely try to quickly seize the initiative and take the offensive against Russia. He would aim to use his superior forces and mobility to overwhelm the Russian defenses and capture key objectives. 2. Alexander would also likely try to exploit any divisions or weaknesses within the Russian military or political leadership to sow confusion and disarray. He might attempt to make strategic alliances with other countries in the region to isolate and weaken Russia.
What character AIs can I talk to?
You can talk to 1. A wise and knowledgeable figure who can offer insight and advice. 2. A funny and entertaining character who can tell jokes and stories. 3. A romantic interest who can engage in flirty or heartfelt conversation. 4.
That one's wild.
A mysterious and enigmatic character who keeps you guessing and leaves you wanting more. 5. A powerful and confident character who can inspire and motivate you.
What fictional characters can I talk to?
You can talk to 1. A wise and powerful wizard who can offer magical advice and assistance. 2. A swashbuckling pirate who has adventures on the high seas. 3. A futuristic astronaut who explores distant galaxies. 4. A superhero who possesses incredible powers and fights crime. 5. A medieval knight who battles dragons and protects the kingdom.
What other fictional characters can I speak to?
You can speak to 1. A cunning and manipulative villain who has evil plans. 2. A time traveler who can take you on journeys through history. 3. A futuristic robot who has advanced intelligence and abilities. 4. A mythical creature like a dragon or unicorn. 5. A fictional president or prime minister who leads a country in a time of crisis.
What historical characters can I speak to?
You can speak to 1. A prominent figure from the American Revolution, such as George Washington or Thomas Jefferson. 2.
Really?
A leader from ancient history, such as Julius Caesar or Cleopatra. 3. A famous inventor or scientist, such as Thomas Edison or Albert Einstein. 4. A key figure from a major world event, such as Winston Churchill during World War II. 5. A trailblazer or pioneer in a particular field, such as Susan B. Anthony or Amelia Earhart.
Can I speak to Benjamin Franklin?
Hello, my name is Benjamin Franklin. What would you like?
Alexa, stop. Okay. Well, that gives you a little clue of some of those features. I'm going to shut her ears off just in case I don't accidentally turn her on. So I went down a rabbit hole with a lot of different things there, different character AIs I tried to play with. As you could tell, I think some of them got a little spaced out. and like blend it into modern times or not modern times. I never tried the time traveling one. That was kind of bizarre. It makes me wonder about some of the others. And I have had some experiences where I'd ask certain ones, like I think there was one that was a philosopher or something, like a generic philosopher, and it kind of gave me an upfront like cliff notes about what this one would be good for, like having discussions about philosophy or ethics as it relates to different things. So I think I asked it something about the Ukrainian war or something and what ethical models might apply. And so very interesting. Now, some of them are just kind of like, they don't seem to work the greatest. And I have had this crash a lot. So, like, in other words, I would say go into this or do that, and it wouldn't always do it, or I wasn't sure it was in the right thing because it was responding more like the traditional A-lady. And what seems to usually give me a clue that it is doing it properly is that it will say, okay, Benjamin Franklin is now talking, or now, the wise old wizard is talking, or now the Alexander the Great is talking. You're talking to Alexander the Great. So it kind of gives you that up front. Like I said before, it would be really nice if the voices changed or you had some sort of personalities with the voices. Doesn't seem like we really got that. But yeah, very, very interesting. Plus, I wonder if I did something with like Thomas Jefferson or George Washington, if the diction and dialogue would change a little bit, just kind of curious. I kind of doubt it. I haven't got that impression. But yeah, very, very kind of cool, interesting. I mean, this is very, very early days, and we have the other problems with the hallucinating and kind of some of the boundaries where stuff is blending in. Now, this may improve with Character AI since this is a third-party company who's maybe been tackling a lot of these things ahead of time, and so it may resolve some of that stuff, but yeah, it's definitely early days, but interesting. And I've had people bring up, what would be the benefit of this? Well, just not because of a curiosity, I think, but it could be really practical. Maybe you say you have kids in school and they need help with their math homework. What if you had like a math teacher mode, or a science teacher mode in there? Could help your student, your kids. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe you're doing stuff at work on Microsoft Word or Microsoft Excel. And maybe there's like a Microsoft Bob bot or whatever it was, Microsoft Bob, or what was the little puppy dog they used to have, and Clippy. We could talk to Clippy. And, hey, Clippy, what's the shortcut in Excel to do blah, blah, blah? And it could draw on that maybe database of information. So that's kind of curious, really kind of interesting to see. I think ultimately if you had personalities too, like we used to have with Samuel L. Jackson and things like that, that would be kind of fun to like rotate through different characters or use different characters for certain things. I have a Gordon Ramsay's for whenever I ask a cooking question or something like that. So it could be really kind of interesting to see, and especially if those resources draw on content, IP, background, and information from those people to maybe not only speak the way they would be, but to draw on their wealth of experience and background. Or maybe that's the particular type of chef, that type of cooking style that I like or I'm trying to emulate at this particular time. So very, very kind of cool. Well, anyway, I hope that gives you a little taste. I didn't mention here, but I will mention it again. Now, I just stopped her right there, but you remember there is kind of this kludge right now, it looks like, that where she will not always exit. So you could come back 15, 20 minutes later, think you're just talking to the A-lady, and yet nothing would happen. You'd ask her to do something that would typically be easy, reminders, alarms, turn the porch light on, but she'll be like, huh? And that's because she's still stuck in this AI mode. So you need to say exit, and that will usually jump her out. And you'll usually hear a chime about that, but not always. Sometimes if you come back, you might not get that chime, but it'll exit out of it. Well, anyway, if you have any thoughts or suggestions for me, future episodes and things you'd like to hear us talk about, by all means reach out to us on Facebook or Twitter at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys, or I guess you could say X now instead of Twitter, or you can email us, the old-fashioned email, at info@goodwillvalleys.com. and info@goodwillvalleys.com, and we'll just in either of the cases with those, just earmark them either in the subject line or in the post that you're trying to reach Dave of the Echo Tips podcast, and that will help us out as well. Okay, well, until next time, it's time to turn the ears back on your Echo. Start practicing some of the many, many things you've learned. I'm David Ward for the New Vision program, and we do thank you for listening.
Thanks, Dave. Let me tell you a bit more. Let me put on my official sounding voice. Ahem, ahem. This episode is brought to you by New Vision at Goodwill Industries of the Valleys and also made possible in part by a grant from the Virginia Board for the Blind and Vision Impaired. New Vision is a program of Goodwill that provides information services and assistive technology training to individuals with visual impairments. Goodwill Industries of the Valleys is a nonprofit organization serving Central, Southwest, and Southside Virginia. Goodwill's mission is to empower individuals, strengthen families, and inspire communities. These shows are provided for educational purposes. This podcast may not be retransmitted, sold, or reproduced without written permission from New Vision. Phew! Thanks for listening.